This conference will now be recorded.
So I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so today we will discuss about remoting. So remoting is the core concept in PowerShell. From the basic command, we can able to pass the computer name to fetch information from the given server name. And also when it comes to WMI and the SIM, we used multiple computer names. So the computer name might be available. We can get it from test file. We can just pass it during the command itself. So one by one based on the command we can provide the command letter itself. So we can pass this input in various method, right? So one is to pass the server name from the test file, others from CSV file. So others you can just get the input server name from the end user who is going to execute the script. So and also if any servers needs to fetch from any sources, for example is from ServiceNow, from CMDB. So other kind of repository, we need to fetch the list of servers based on the conditions. So once we filter the servers, we need to pass it for the processing. So we can do that way without any manual intervention. And also you can, if it is for few servers, then you can just add it in the variable and just pass the variable. So or else you can use the variable and process one by one using looping concept. So there are various you know process we can follow, so based on the requirement. So now the remoting is all together actually. So for whatever we learned till now, the conditioning, looping, variable, and WMI queries, order commands, so all together. So we can use the remoting. So remoting is nothing but it's a parallel execution. So whatever we tried, at previous classes, so it's execute in SQL manner. So if you are giving more than one server, it will try to execute the commands one by one. So it will work on the first class server. Once execution is successful, and then it will go to the next server. So it will go one by one. But here the remoting, if you want to do some script, if you want to run some script, if you want to perform some operation for multiple servers, so it can be achieved remoting parallelly. So at a time you can able to shut down 10 machines, 100 machines. At a time you can able to fetch service details from 10 machines or 15 machines. So you can define the machines, number of machines also, or else you can give the number of servers which you want to perform connection. So parallelly it will run the code and it will fetch the details. Okay, so as I said, the remoting concept is mainly used to work on the multiple machines. So if you want to perform parallel execution, so you can make use of remoting. So in remoting, we need to set up few things. So even for connectivity and all, we need to enable the ports, and we need to check the winner services. Right. So again, for remoting, we have a few other prerequisites. Actually, we have to do some activity before executing the remote commands. So we will learn about that, setup. I mean, the ecosystem which we supposed to do before executing the command. So in remoting, we have two types of remoting. So one is one-to-one remoting. So which mean you have your server, uh, which mean it's a development server or management server, development or management server. So basically, from this server only you are going to write your code, and once you write all the codes, you just verify it on the machine. So but from this server you are going to do some kind of automation with the other machine, so if you want to perform some operation only specific to a single server, which means only one client machine. Then it's called one-to-one remote. So I just going to perform the automation only specific to specific single server. Then it's called one-to-one remote. So this one one to many. So from the dev server or management server. So you are going to perform the same operation for multiple servers. More than one servers. Which means so server one, two. So which means I want to many remoting. So one to one remoting, it's just a session we can take it from the client machine. So for example, so if you want to perform one to one remoting, you can do it in two ways. So one is from the UI itself you can able to achieve, and second one using command line we can achieve it. For one to many, we supposed to use command lines. Okay. So before going into detail, in this one, so we have to do some kind of prerequisites, right? So what kind of prerequisites, right? So we need to enable WinRM configuration. So we have to enable the WinRM setup. So you have to check whether the client machine which you are going to execute, right? So it's supposed to enable the WinRM actually. So for enabling WinRM, we need to use enable hyphen ps remoting command. So this is the command. So we have to use in order to enable the remoting. So enable hyphen ps remoting. We have to execute this one. So if you want to execute this one, you supposed to be admin of this particular server. So you have to check whether you have admin rights. So but if you want, so in the real situation, so you can't do one by one, right? So if you are managing 1,000 plus servers in your environment, so you can't go and do it for one by one. So so basically what we have to do, we have to change this one using any configuration management tool, for example SCCM or some other tools, or else group policy itself they can able to change this one. So we need to check the admin access, and we need to check whether the WinRM is already configured or not. So if it is not configured, we have to use enable ps remote command, so that the WinRM will be enabled. And once it is enabled, you have to check the execution policy. So each server having its execution policy. So for example, if I am checking the execution policy of this server, this machine, so I need to use get hyphen execution policy. So this is the policy which is already set for all the machines. For some machines, in the group policy itself, they updated with different group, execution policy. So here in this machines having a remote signed execution policy. So we have few execution policy types. So if you want to know execution policy, can go with help system again. Help of. Okay, so for getting the execution policy, we have to use get execution policy. So if you want to change the execution policy, for example, some servers having a restricted execution policy. So if it is having restricted, then you can't make a connection. from the management machine. So the execution policy is supposed to unrestricted or remote sign. So then only we can able to do automation. So there are few execution policies. So mostly used execution policy types are remote sign, unrestricted, all sign. Even we have restricted and also some other execution policy. But you have to check whether this server having any of the three execution policy. But as per the basic best practices, we have to enable remote sign instead of unrestricted or on-site. We can use remote sign touch. Okay, so if the system having restricted or some other type of execution policy, if you want to change it to remote sign, then you can use set type and execution policy. So there's a command to get the execution policy using get type and execution policy. For setting the execution policy, you can use set type and execution policy. So if you want to know more about the policy types, you can use help of set execution policy, and then you can able to get the information from syntax. So the syntax set execution policy, right? So we have to provide the policy execution policy name. So we can use any of the allowed execution policy. So as I said before, we have to make sure to use any of the three execution policy. But as per the best practices, you can use remote sign for full-fledged connectivity. And so even if you are downloading some script from internet, it will work based on the remote sign. So there are few execution policy here mentioned, right? So one is unrestricted, and second is remote sign, all sign, restricted, so default, bypass, undefined. So we have seven, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So seven execution policies are there. But mostly, most of the wires having either remote sign or restricted. So some servers having unrestricted. So based on my experience, I could see this repeated execution policies. But it depends on the project and the environment, right? So if you find anything apart from unrestricted or remote sign, so if it is restricted, then you can't do anything, right? So if it's restricted, then what you have to do, you have to set the execution policy with remote sign. So you can set with unrestricted and all signed also, but as per the best practices, and also it remote sign is the most secured, and also is a good one to execute the remote commandlets. So it is always preferred to use a remote sign. Okay. So okay, so we will learn about what is supposed. Okay, so we have to set the execution policy, right? So first one, we need to enable the WinRM using enable PS remoting, and second one, we have to check the execution policy. So if the execution policy is supposed to have any of the three, but I would say it's preferred to use remote side, even if it is having unrestricted. So we have to make sure, so we are using remote sign. And once you changed, if you want to change, you can use this command, set execution policy space remote sign. So it will ask you for the confirmation, yes or no question. So you have to press yes to change it. But it is again you supposed to be admin of that particular server. Okay. So from this seven execution policy, so we will learn one by one. So the restricted one. So from the name itself, we got no is restricted, so we can't run any PowerShell script on the server remotely, right? So this is straight away also restricted mode. We can't do script, we can't run anything on this one. So the remote signed, right? So the remote signed is the you can execute the script locally, and you can use the certified signed certificate, right? So trusted certificate we made here, right? So you can use that certificate also in case if you want to do some kind of certificate, secret certificate on the file, and also in case if you want to run the code which is downloaded from the internet. So the internet also we might contain the script file having certificate, right? So that one also we can execute here. So basically the signed, all signed, right? So it's again whatever the sign having, so it will execute digitally signed, right? So it will execute that scripting. So unrestricted again, you can execute all these scripts. Even is untrusted source, code, untrusted source also we can execute. But again, for the security reason, we supposed to use remote sign. So undefined, if there is no scope defined on the machine, it will be a, it is undefined one. So bypass, it will bypass the security related thing. So all the security policy having some you know gap, right? So that's why it is recommended to use a remote sign for the certificate remote certificate, trust certificate, under the local scripts. All the scripts will execute with the sign. Okay. So any questions still now? Okay, so we can't go and check all the machines if we are going to manage 1,000 plus servers. So in your environment having 5,000 servers. So from that 5,000 servers, if we have 2,000 servers for Windows, then you can't go and do the changes one by one, right? So at the time, what you can do, you can go with the group policy settings, the computer configuration changes you can able to. So for the specific user account also, you can make the changes. Okay. Right. So next one, so I said that there are two types of remoting. So one is one to one, and only. So for one to one, from the actual machine, so the from the managed centralized machine to remote machine, client machine, you can manage. So for the attack purpose, if you are getting some ticket, for example, server one having some issues with the service stopped, then what you have to do, instead of going to take the RDP on that server and then take the screen, and then you can go and check the services manually. So you can manage all those things from the PowerShell itself. So I mean PowerShell itself on the development machine. So how we can do? You can do it in two ways. So one is using UI. So using UI, we have option to take the remoting. So new remote PowerShell tab. So Control Shift R. So if you use this one, it will ask you to provide computer name. That's a username. So you have to provide the computer name which is supposed to take the remoting. So you can able to provide only one server. This is one-to-one remoting, right? So you can provide the one server and the credential which we supposed to access that server. So once you given the server name and the computer name, and if you have to click connect for something, just type in something. So click connect, So it will ask you to enter the password. So basically, you have to enter the password of this user. So once you enter the password, so what will happen? There is a separate you know, tab open, right? So here, so this is my local PowerShell. So it will be changed with the remote servers PowerShell. So instead of this one, you know, so you can able to see the remote server name here. Remote server followed by the PowerShell path of that remote server. So after that, whatever you are typing here, it will work on the remote machine, not from the local host, not the current server. So whatever you are typing is basically a scripting other command. So whatever you are typing here, so it's on the corresponding machine. So you can just get the information. You can just change the configuration of the remote machine. So at a time you can able to perform, you can able to control only one machine using one-to-one remote. So this is UI form of you are managing this client machine. And when it comes to you know command line, so you can use enter PS session and to connect the specific server. So we have a command called enter hyphen PS session, PowerShell session, and we have to provide the computer name. So you have to pass the credential. So credential you can have to pass username and password. So I just stored username using get credential. So if you are using get typing credential, it will ask you to enter the username and password. So once you enter the username and password, it will be stored on the credential variable. And I'm just using the variable here. So if you use this one, what will happen? It will it will go to that corresponding server, and it will access that server using the given username and password. And basically the same what we did here, right? So from the UI we just try to connect that server PowerShell, but here what will happen? So we are just getting the session of the given server PowerShell. So again we are going to do the same thing, but this is in the form of command line. The now the previous one we already have UI format. So from the UI we are just giving the data, and we are connecting these. So this is again same, but this is the command like method we are using. So once you executed all the things, so once you verified the service status on the specific machine, so once change the service status, so your work is done, right? So once you completed, if you want to close the session, you just close using the command like exit PS session. So if you want to access the server, you can use enter PS session. So if you want to exit the PS session, you can use exit PS session. Any questions? With the one demo.
Napoleon, is this is the one command that which we used for remoting, or is there any other command that's available?
Yeah, so for one-to-one remoting, you can use this command let. Even for the one-to-many reporting, and the only one-to-one also we can use some other command. This is the command actually for remoting. We have to use in-one type of command. You can
Okay,
use it for one-to-one also, but um, but it is recommended to use one to many, but you can give only one server also to work.
got it.
Yeah.
Uh, the other question is, Napoleon, see, in an organization, uh, we'll be running this script we'll be running the script to collect some data across more than 50 servers or 100 servers, and
Okay.
we don't use any our own credentials. So what we'll be using
Yeah.
is either service account or something.
Correct.
And if at all, if I use the service account, which needs to get authenticated by AD itself without providing any password by us. So in this case,
Okay.
how this can be achieved?
Yeah. So here you just need to pass the username. That's fine.
Hmm.
So in the credential, right? So okay, so you are not supposed to pass the password. Only username supposed to pass. Is it?
Okay, how did that work? Only if I use if I pass this, I mean username. At least we need to mention something, right, for the password, either to fetch it from somewhere, maybe from the vault
Okay.
or
Okay. So if you where is your password inside? It's on the vault, right? Which vault is Ansible vault or some other file?
no, it could be CyberArk or it could be Key
Okay.
Vault from the
Okay.
Azure or somewhere.
Okay, so so if you're using CyberArk, if you want to fetch the password, it will change every day, right? For the service account. Sorry, for the local account, something. So if it is standard one, you just pass it here. But if it is changing every day, you supposed to get it from password vault. I mean, the service arc or something. You just use API console. So CyberArk having the API, so you
Okay,
just use the API to pass the account. So it will give the password. Just
okay,
take the password and share it. I mean, you pass it here.
fine.
So is there anything?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Right. So next one to many reporting. So using this is the main command actually. You can use this command for one-to-one remoting as well. But if you use this one, the interface session, you are just getting the session of the remote machine. So it will be used when you are working on the ad hoc basis. So if something needs to check immediately for a quick span of time, you have to check something. If you want to modify something on this particular only one machine, so at the time it will be helpful. But if you want to do a lot of process, or you have to control some things, you want to install some script, some exe file. So if you are going to change the model, then you can go with the invoke command as well from single server. So invoke command is a command that we supposed to use for remoting with the multiple servers. You can pass the multiple servers in the computer name, and we have to use credential. So basically, when it comes to automation, if you want to connect all the servers, we have to use service account. So if you already have a static password, you just use the same username and password. And if you want to get the password in the secure manner, in the CyberArk or some other application, then there is an API available. So you just call that API to use get method. So last week we discussed about API management, right? So we have to use get method of API, and we have to pass the username, and it will you can able to get the password. So using the URL API URL. So once you got the API, password, you just add it here. So we have to pass the credential for connecting the remote machines, and we have one more parameter called script plug. So this is the main thing actually. So what's the you know the use of a script plug is, so whatever the script you are given in the script plug, it will go and be execute on the remote machines, which is we mentioned. So till now we discussed the function get WMI to get the data, get some instance, so get service, get process, get event log. So we learned few other commands also, right? So basically, if you want to get some information, or if you want to modify some information to execute the methods of particular class, so if you want to change anything, So you will write the code in the form of scripting. So you can do some validation using if condition, if else condition. So if you are going to do some kind of process, multiple times, you can use for loop or for each loop, right? So using that concepts, you will write the code, but the entire code, if you are running on the local machine, it will run and it will execute only on the local servers. But if you want to do the same operation for the multiple servers, so for example, if you want to install an Windows Defender for multiple servers, so at the time the same code you're supposed to execute on the multiple servers, right? So this is called remoting. So you just create a script to install the Windows Defender. You just use the script within the script block. We have to make sure to use innova command hyphen computer name to pass the list of servers which you want to install the Windows Defender and use the credential, and under the script block you have, it's a block, right? So we have to use curly bracket. So within the curly bracket you can give the entire script to install the Windows Defender. You can give multiple lines as much for your requirement. So if you want to check only the single command letter, so you can pass. So it's not an issue. You can perform, you can pass it within the same line. So if you have yeah, entire script supposed to execute on the remote machine, you can mention all the entire script here. So you can instead of giving line by line, you can use variable to store the script. So like this, use variable to store your entire script, and then you just use this variable in this script block. So instead of uh, giving line by line, you just store all the script into variable and just pass the variable here. So it will work actually. So we have one more parameter called throttle limit. So as we know, in remoting it will execute parallelly, right? So for example, if you want to get service for three servers from three servers, so 1, 2, 3. If you want to get the services, stuff services from three servers, then what will happen? This command will execute on the three servers parallelly. So it will go and execute on the server one, it will go and execute on the server two, and the same code will execute on the server three. Okay, so this is a parallel execution, right? So it can't wait for the previous server to be completed. So it will go and execute parallel. So it will invoke the script block on those machines. Okay, so what will happen if you are giving multiple servers? For example, 1,000 servers if you are giving to do something. At the time, if you are launching the script on 1,000 servers, so there is a network performance will be there, right? So if you want to overcome the network performance and delay or something, so you can limit the parallel execution. So the limit, if you want to limit the parallel execution, you can use throttle limit parameter. So if I am entering 2, so what will happen? On parallelly, we have to execute. On parallelly, we have to execute this, command or script block only two, machines parallel. So at a time, it will go and execute only two machines. So once it's completed, then it will go to another two machines. So it will go the number of servers. So if you are giving from 10 servers, so it will go with parallel execution only with two servers first, and then it will go next two, and then it will go next two. So then it will go and reach a specific number of servers. So if you want to achieve parallel execution, you need to 5 servers at a time. So if you want to shut down 1,000 servers after detaching, reboot out 1,000 servers. So at the time you no need to using this one, it will be a problem. So at the time you want to control the executions, and you can use a certain limit with 5 servers or 2 servers or 10 servers. Okay, so this is one way. The next way. Okay, any questions still now? So we directly used invo command to execute the script plug. So the script plug contains you can give single line of code, or you can give the entire script itself for your requirement. So you can use invo command. This is one way of calling using the remoting option. So the second option is so using PS session. uh, you can make use of PS session to work on the remote technology. So there's a command called new PS session. So new PS session, and then we are going to give the number of servers, and you have to pass the credential. So what will happen? So it will go and get these sessions from these individual servers, and it will it will store on the variable. uh, as we used the enter space session, right? So it will work only for specific server. I mean only one server actually. But if you want to get the session from multiple servers, then you can go with a new PS session. This is another option actually. You just use invo command for the simplified thing. But if you want to do in different way to get the session first, and then from the session you are going to do something, then you can get the session, and then store this variable, and then so if you are going to do something, I can use this one. So I'm just using the variable, and I'm just storing the command line to get the service name and status. So command, I'm just giving instead of passing the computer name and the credential, I just used hyphen session. Since we already passed a username, password, and also the server we mentioned, right? So we just got the PowerShell session from all the machines, and just using the session here in the invoke command. So and then we are going to provide the script block. So in the script block, I just used the command click here. Sorry, I just used the variable here. So instead of variable, just use this command itself. So simply use the variable, or else use the script itself. So once the thing is completed, then you just get the PS session. So using get PS session, you can able to get. Okay, so here we are using 3 servers, right? So what will happen? It will get 3 sessions. One is from server one is from T, and one is from server 5. So it will create 3 sessions, and from 3 sessions we are just executing this command. So once everything is completed, then we have to close the session, right? So at the time, we are using get PS session in order to get all the active sessions. So each session having its time, actually a time limit. So uh, you know you can't use for the whole thing. So for example, some network performance will be there, right? So it will be if it is a connectivity issue, then you can't use PS session. What I mean is, so if you are using PS session, you can get this session for a few minutes. So if any interrupt happen, then the session will be closed, so you can't able to connect. You have to connect again using a new session. So once okay, so you are getting the session right. So if you are passing multiple servers, you will get all the sessions here, and you are just passing the session to process the request. So and then once completed, you are going to exit the session. So you are going to remove all the sessions. So for removing all sessions, you can use get here session to get all the active sessions, and then using pipeline, you just use remove session. So you can do it. You just get the list of active session, and then you can remove it. Or else you can directly use the variable a session dollar session, right? We used here. So you can directly mention it's in the remote remove peer session itself. So why I used get session of remove peer session is sometime what will happen, there are few session might be there previously, it can be it is not closed in, before others, some session is already closed, some session only having actively, then you just to close the active one, so there is no need to for all the session size, so we just need to close which is already inactive. So any questions with this option? So here for one-to-one, you can use enter PA session to connect the server. So you just get the PowerShell instance, I mean PowerShell session from the server. So once you fetch the PA
Sorry,
session,
sorry to interrupt
so you
you.
can
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
what is the difference between new PA session and the enter PA session?
Yeah. So the enter PA session is just your taking the PowerShell from the server. Okay, so you're just taking the PS session from the server. So here, so this is my my system PowerShell session, right? This is my local session. Am I right?
Okay.
So PS of
Yeah.
the file. This is my local session. So whatever
Hmm.
I am typing here, I am just getting the data. So this is my local session. So likewise, I need to connect the server one's PowerShell. So server one is a Windows server, right? So if I need to connect, PowerShell of that server one, so how I can be able to get using remotely, I can able to get the session. So enter PS session will be working to get the session of the PowerShell session of the particular machine. So once you executed this one, what will happen? Instead of my local PowerShell path, it will be shown like this. So one of EXC users are so for example on the server one's machine, the PowerShell will be installed on separate folder, right? Separate path. So what will happen? I'm just getting the PowerShell from the server one. So once you executed enter PA session, so what will happen? It will get the PowerShell session of server one. So basically, what will happen? So on the server one, if you are going to check something, you have to take RDP and then you have to launch PowerShell on the server one, right? So instead of taking RDP and stuff for taking opening the PowerShell command led on the particular machine, you are just controlling it from the development machine or management machine. So from this machine, I'm just taking the PowerShell control of server one. So in order to achieve that one, we have to use enter PS session to taking this PowerShell session of this server. So once I executed this command, so the local path of mine will be changed, and it will be changed with the specific computer name and then the PowerShell path. So whatever if I'm typing here, right? So if I am typing get service, so it will execute on this machine, and it will return the output of this machine output, not from my local machine. So whatever you are typing here, it will execute on the machine, on the particular machine, and it will give the return value. Okay, so are we clear with the entire API session?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so on the other hand, the new peer session. So this is again you are getting the session. I mean, you are creating a new session. It's not yet getting the session. It's you are going to create a new session for this server. So here enter peer session is you are just getting the PowerShell session of the server. But here you are just creating a PowerShell session for the servers, and then the password. Okay, so basically if you are running this one, what will happen? It will go and reach the server using this credential, and it will create a new PowerShell session, and it will store it on the variable. So here we used three server sides, so it will create new three sessions for each server, and then three sessions will be stored on this variable. So here instead of I am using computer name and credential, I just used the session, the new session which I created. Okay, so here instead of using this one alone, I'm just creating a session and just passing the session to execute the script. I supposed to use in this way. So what I'm doing here. So here I am instead of passing computer name and credential. So if you are using computer name and credential, what will happen actually? So it will just interact with the server, right? So it will create a session, new PowerShell session actually. So this is indirect way of connecting with the server. So instead of this one, I'm just trying to create a new session using a commandlet. I'm just using the variable here. So on the backend, if you use this one, it again going to create a new session only. So this is indirect way. I mean, on the backend, it will create a PowerShell session on the three machines. So I am just creating the same thing using this one. Hope you got it, or let me clarify again.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, if you are using this, straight away on the background, it will create a new instance. I mean, new session on these individual servers. So I am just replicating the same thing using a new page session. I'm just using the same session here. So one disadvantage is, here you are going to give the lines of code. I mean, in the script, right? The script block. So if it is 1,000 lines of code, you can able to, type it there, right? So it is for your requirement only. You are going to write the code. So if you are performing some, um, you know, if you are going to perform some, reporting kind of automation using PowerShell, then you might the code lines will be 500 lines of code also you can able to write. So at the time, what will happen? Each code it is taking time, right? So if you are typing on the local machine and if you are running the same code on the remote machine is something different. So there might be some network delay might happen, right? So at the time, the session supposed to be live. Sometime what will happen, the session will be out, right? So that's why if you are using new PS session, so sometime the session will be out during the ideal time, some intermittent network issue delay. So it is always recommended to close the session after you perform the operation. So for the memory management, the garbage collection and all, right? So we are just going to clean up all the things. So we learning from starting, right? So till now we learned few best practices when it comes to memory management. So one is whenever you are creating a variable, you have to remove the variable. So we have a uh, command called remove variable. So if you are creating a user defined variable, it is always recommended to remove the variable at the end of the script. So and next one, so if you are opening a session is from database connectivity, if you are opening database connectivity and you have to close the connectivity. So if you are opening if you are creating a new object, so Excel object, we learned, right? So if you're creating a new Excel object, you're supposed to close the object at the end. So whatever you are creating a new object, you have to close the object. So if you're opening something, you have to close. And likewise, if you are creating a session using new peer session, you have to close the session using remove peer session. Okay. Okay. Any questions till now? Okay. So you have any instead of your laptop or computer, you have any other system which is already connected? Others, if you are working on the your project server, company's laptops, then you can able to connect multiple servers, right? So at the time, you can try it out, this kind of remoting. Just try with the get option. So which mean get the service name, get winner status, so get some event log, get some PowerShell, process name. Just start with the get information, single line command, and then you can use multiple line of codes. So far you recommend, so get take one example, whatever you're currently performing in your environment, right? So take some instant related process related service improvement related, take one use case as an example, and you just start working on that one.
Yes, Napoleon, I have one query. Uh,
Okay.
there are three commandlets. One is invoke command, and another one is
Okay.
enter PS session and new PS session. In what scenario we will be using these three different
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So enter the PS. Okay. So this is one command. Second command. No, right. Third one. UPS. Okay, so okay, at what instance we have to use this one, right? Only three, right?
yes, correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, okay. So it's again based on your requirement. Okay, so suppose so you are getting a alert instant. So for example, if you are having a server name server, so in your environment you have multiple servers. So let me name it as 1 2 3 for now. So 5, etc. So if you have multiple servers in your environment, okay, so here you will get an instance only specific to single server. For example 1. So example 1, you are getting an incident only specific to server 1. Okay. So the incident dot short description of notes the updated like spooler is not working. This is again an example. Okay, so short description updated like this. Instant, you can see. Okay, so this is incident number. CA component instance, right? So this is this CA server 1 is the CA. Okay, so you have multiple servers on your environment. So you are getting an instant only specific to single server, single component instance, only single server. So what's the issue? Spooler service is not working. Okay, so if you are getting this one, so what you have to do? What do you supposed to do in actual? You for manually you have to do one thing. You have to check the services on the particular machine, the server 1, right? So you have to go manual steps, right? So you have to take RDP on RDP to server 1, right? So you will take RDP on server 1, RDP, and then you will go, you will launch services app, and then check spooler service status, and then so if it is stop, what do you have to do? Restart uh, yep, start the service, check again, check the status again, right? So if it is working fine, it is running, update the ticket, and if running, update the ticket and close it. Okay, so you are getting the ticket like this, and what is your remediation step? You have to from the machine, from your laptop or your jump server, you're supposed to take the RDP of that particular machine, and you have to open the services application, and you have to scroll down and check the service spooler service status. If it is stopped, then you have to start the service using right click properties and all, and you have to check the status again once executed, and if it is running, then you have to update the ticket, and then you can close the instance. So this is what you are going to do manually, am I right? So is there any conflict with this statement?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so for this scenario, instead of going in the manually, So what we are going to do now in the automation script. So instead of taking RDP, we just get the session of server one. How we can able to get this server one session is, so you already working on your development machine, or managed as centralized machine. So from that you already having connection with all your servers. So if you are not having the connectivity, you have to enable, another service and all. So we discussed what we supposed to, enable for remoting concept, right? So you have to enable remoting. You have to check the execution policy and all. You have to check. So it's supposed to, if it is not, on the correct value, then you have to correct it on the group policy itself. Okay, so now assume you already having the connectivity. So all the prerequisites are already completed. So you already having connectivity with all the servers using the service account. Okay, so now for this instant, so what we can do, instead of going to take RDP and all, so you just get the PowerShell session. So you already have working on the machine, right? So from that machine, you just launch PowerShell, either PowerShell ISE or PowerShell. So I just used PowerShell ISE. So it's up to you. You can use PowerShell command prompt also fine. So if you're using PowerShell command, this one. Okay. So if you are using ISE, editor, you have option to take remote on the particular machine. You in the GUI itself, UI itself. So this is the option on the file. You can go and select new remote PowerShell tab. So you have to enter server name. The server one is our server we supposed to go and remediate, right? So we have to provide at that server. We have to provide the service account, and if you click connect, it will ask you to enter the password. Once you enter the password, you will get this PowerShell session of that server one. Instead of, this is my local PowerShell session. So instead of
Sorry
this
to
one,
interrupt.
you will, yeah, please.
How did we get that console?
Okay, so go to file, and if you scroll
Okay.
down, you can able to get new remote PowerShell tab. So
Okay.
there is, okay, one is new PowerShell tab. Basically, it's a new PowerShell tab on the local machine. So for the remoting, you can go with new remote PowerShell tab. Control Shift R.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay. So if you are using ISC, it will be easy for you to get the PowerShell session of that particular server. So once the session is established, you just try to get the services of spooler. So if you if you enter this one, basically it will go and check the services of that particular server one. So here if I'm running on my local session, is giving the output of my local. But if you take the remote session, if you are running this command, so basically it will execute on the on that particular server, and it will give the details. So if it is stopped, you just use the start service spooler. Just execute this one. So once executed, again you check the service status. Okay, if it is running fine, then you can go and update the ticket, and then you can close it. So on the ad hoc basis, if you want to do something within the short period of time, instead of taking RDP and all, instead of go and launch the application, and so we can do it on the same server. Okay, but if you are using PowerShell IC, you already have the option. But if you are using command prompt, PowerShell command prompt, so you can use enter PS session command line. So enter PS session, and then computer name you can pass the server one, right? It's a computer name, and then credential. credential username and password. So once you execute this one, so what will happen instead of local session, it will you will get PowerShell session of this server one. So it will be like this. Yeah, it will be like this. The computer name followed by the path. You will get like this. So this is local machine. That's why there is no mention about the server name. But if you use this enter PS session, you will get like this: the computer name followed by the path, PowerShell path. So here you can just get the spooler status, and then you can start the services, and then you can once verified, you can just close the session. Okay, so in this, if you want to perform particular thing on only one server, only specific to single server, at the time you can go with enter PS session. This is ad hoc basis. You can go with enter PS session if you want to do some operation on the single machine. So this is clear.
Yes, I'm clear.
Enter PS session. Yeah. Okay. So the
In
next
place of
invoke
enter PS
command
session,
and also the
we
PS
also
session. So you can use. Okay, can you come again, please?
in place of enter PS session, we can also use the new PS session as well. It will be remain same, right? Capability will be
Yes, yes,
remain
yes.
same.
You can use. Yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. You can use this two for single server also.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, for single server. Okay, for single server you can use all three options. Actually.
Okay.
So when it comes to multiple servers, you can use this two only. Yeah. So there is no minimum and maximum. So you can use single servers also using. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Got it.
the same thing you can achieve it using invoke command and also new PS session. So suppose if you want to do the same thing for multiple server one, server two, server three. If you want to perform on three servers, so you can achieve it in two ways. One is directly you can pass the computer name in the no command, or else just to get the PowerShell session of three server. Just to create is not a get is just to create the new PowerShell session of three servers and use the session when calling a when invoking the command. Okay. So you got it or need any clarification?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks for it.
So it depends on your requirement. So if you are going to handle ad hoc purpose for single service, you can go with the interface sensor. So others, if you want to execute the bundle of code, so again the PS session is only to interact with the server. You can be able to run the single commands. Right. So if you want to go with multiple lines of statement, so it's a kind of scripting, then you can go with the invoke command even for single servers. So again, it's up to you to use PS session. So if you are not using also, it's fine. You just directly pass the computer name and the credential with the invoke command itself.
Got it.
Okay. So any other questions? Just let go remote. This is mainly we supposed to use actually when it comes to configuration management, right? So we have to control all the machines when the centralized machines. So this is the one we supposed to use. So basically, there are few orchestration tools available in the industry. So if you ask me, VMware side, there is a orchestration tools. I hope I have taken this one during introduction class. So VMware having VRO, realized orchestrator, HPE having HPO, and Windows. Others are right. So center, and HP is for Hewlett Packard. Okay, so there are a few other orchestration tools also available. Even BMC having Team Orchestrator. So and also we have few more orchestration available in the industry. So why I'm saying here is from the orchestration tool we can able to manage all those things. So we can use PowerShell script in the orchestration tool in order to execute the command lines. So the previous example which we discussed, right? So here, if you want to do end-to-end automation, so here we did partial automation, right? So until to check the service status and restart the service and check post verification we did. But when it comes to uh, validating the server, getting the server name and getting the short description and identifying the scenario and updating the status and closing the incident. So all those things are is still manual, right? So if you want to perform an end-to-end without any manual steps, then you can achieve it in two ways. One is within the PowerShell script itself, you can achieve it. You just use API management to access the incident and identify the remediation. I mean, identify the use case. I mean, the use case name from the short description or some other key value. So that's the one thing you can use the same scripting method to get the service name, and then you can update the status and close ticket using the same API management stuff. So on the other hand, if you have orchestration tools like this, you just get these uh, instant details using API. So this orchestration tool is also having API options. So from REST API, you just control, you can just connect the API and just get the information. So once you get the information, if you want to remediate the steps, remediate the steps which we mentioned, right? You can create a PowerShell script to do that. So if you want to execute this script on the remote machine, on the specific machine, then at the time you can go with the invoke command option. So invoke command of the script block you have to use spooler get service and then restart the service if they stopped. You can apply condition and then you can check again post verification. So once everything is fine, then you can close ticket in the orchestration since it's already connected with the API, right? So you just you use the API to close the ticket. So if the tool is not present, then you can do it in a PowerShell itself. So PowerShell having the capability of managing the APIs, right? So again, orchestration is again it's a managing purpose. So from the orchestration tools, you are just manage the environment, and it is having UI based portal when it comes to getting the input from the user for semi-automated solution.
And Napoleon, I have one query.
Yeah, please.
I am using service now. Will
Okay.
I be able to interact with service now through PowerShell? How can I do the
Yes,
automation?
yes, we can. We can. Yeah, we can actually. Last week, when we discussed about the API, right? At the time also, I explained Posh service now actually. We go to the last week class. So here, if you see, so ServiceNow, having its API facility, you just get the API information from the ServiceNow who is handling ServiceNow team. So there's an API document available, ServiceNow API document. So they will provide the document. So the document contains all the information which is related to incident management, change management, demand management, and all. So how to get the data using get method, how to update the ticket, how to close the ticket. So all the information which is available on the document itself. So basically, it will be like this. The URL of the API, it will be like this. And if when it comes to update, you just need to pass the incident number, the particular corresponding field and value you're supposed to pass. So, we have API for Remedy also. We have API for ServiceNow also. So, if you have ServiceNow, you just get the API and API documentation link. So, you can able to achieve end-to-end automation actually. So, using PowerShell itself, you just invoke the API to get the information, and then you can update the status using PowerShell itself.
Same way,
So,
will I be able
you
to interact with um, Outlook? Say, for example, I am getting alerts.
yeah,
I instead of verifying those alerts manually,
yeah.
if I run one script, I need to check those specific alert. Say, for example, related to replication or backup
Yep.
related
Okay.
alert. I need to check and I need to get the report of it.
Hmm. Okay.
Is it possible?
Yes. Yes, yes, it's possible.
Okay.
So, okay, so for the accessing API, we have to use invoke hyphen rest method. So we have to pass the API URL and pass the method. So you will able to achieve it from PowerShell. So this is for your previous query for service now. So for this, Outlook you asked, right? So for the
One
Outlook,
minute.
we last,
One minute.
yeah,
How can I
yeah.
get the API URL? Is there any option? Is there any way to get it?
Okay, so API information with respect to your account service now.
Yeah,
Okay, so the service now, is specific to each project, right? So if you are
correct.
having, yeah, so you have to check with the service now team. So who is managing service now? So basically, if it is outsourced to your project, you can check with the tools team or who is handling the service now. Or else, if it is still with the customer client, you can check with them to get to know the API details.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
some
Okay.
project, what will happen? They will give the service now control.
Okay.
So some customer they still hold on the architecture service now and all. So they just given specific access to the team, not AP.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So basically, they will provide few things. If you are asking for API, they will provide the base URI, base URL. So the base URL something like this. Basically, if you are from your service now link URI, right? So the base certificate. So the base host name followed by API. So some API having version 1, version 2 and all. So some API doesn't have any versions. Okay, so you will get API URL one information. The second information, if you want to access the API, you need credentials. So they will create a service account for accessing the API. So username and password they will provide. So using that credential, you can able to connect the API. So if you are accessing the API, you just use this link on the browser, and if you are running on browser, it will ask you to enter the username and password. If you are giving the username and password, it will show the content of the particular link. So if you are accessing the incident related API URL, it will show the list of incident related information. So the output will be in the form of hash table, or else I say the form of JSON. And also they will provide the documentation URL. So if they are not providing, you just ask them.
Okay.
So they will provide the documentation. So from the documentation, it contains all the information in and out.
Sure.
So on your next question, which is related to Outlook, how you are going to fetch specific email, and based on the email subject or body, you need to perform some remediation steps. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So we discussed about Outlook operations last week. So Excel operation and Outlook operation. So using this Excel operation, you can able to interact with the Outlook. Sorry, this Outlook. Yeah, this is using this Outlook. You know use case, we can able to get the list of emails from the Outlook. So if you want to access inbox, you can use Outlook folder inbox, and from the inbox, I'm just storing the inbox folder in the variable. I'm just going to get the items from the inbox. So basically, if you run this one, it will give the entire emails, but I no need to monitor all the emails. I just need to monitor specific emails which is related to my task. So at the time, what we have to do, you can apply a condition. You can use where condition, and you can specify subject is equal to, or subject like backup, right? Backup retention, something like. So if the subject contains backup retention, then it will filter all the emails with respect to subject, backup retention. It will filter and it will show only specific to this keyword. So if you want to apply more conditions, you can use hunt, and then you can apply your conditions. So, for example, the received time. Suppose to you received, if you are going to monitor, on day-to-day basis. So, if you want to monitor only today's email, then you can use, today's email, today's, received date, received date equal to get date. Usually, if you are running get date, it will show only today's date, right? Yeah. So, you can do like this. So
So,
from the all, you just need to select only subject, receive date, center. So you can select only few, properties from the email. Yeah,
got So,
you want to
if
tell
I
something?
wanted to specify the folder name, I need to use dollar folder to use that variable is to be used for the folder mentioned, right?
Okay, I think you missed this class, am I right?
Yes, actually.
Okay, yeah. So no problem. Okay, we will take 5 minutes, 10 minutes break since we have continuous 1.5 hours class, right? So we'll take 10 minutes break, and I will go through this one.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Napoleon, I can.
Yeah. Thanks for confirming. Okay. So this is again just related to the outlook. So since Ram, it's on leave at the time, I think so. Um, I'm just repeating the same concept here.
Yeah,
So
Napoleon.
whenever if you want to,
Sorry to interrupt.
yes, yeah, please.
If we already have learned about it, I can go back and view the videos. In case of any doubt, I can revert back to it. And I don't want to waste everyone's time. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just giving the high level details. So
Yeah, yeah, please.
it may be useful go to them. Okay, so whenever you are going to interact with the Microsoft applications like Excel, Word, presentation, Outlook, so all comes under Microsoft Office, right? So the Microsoft application, if you want to interact, so if you want to interact with the Microsoft applications, so you have to create a COM object. So COM object is nothing but a component object. So for each application having its object. So for example, for Excel, we have to use Excel dot application. So for Word, we have to use Word dot application. So for Outlook, we have to use Outlook dot application. So mostly we supposed to automate with Excel and Outlook. So for Excel, we have to create a sheet and we have to update the data based on the command lets. So in the previous example, we interacted with the Excel and we created the component common object and we created the book worksheets and we renamed the sheet name and we have added the content header and also we updated get service details in the Excel sheet rows and columns. So we saved the Excel file, and once everything is completed, we just quite the this new object. So likewise, if you want to perform something related to Outlook, so for example, in the real time, we supposed to monitor the Outlook. Is either from your individual Outlook, or else from the service account if you want to monitor. So at the time, what we have to do, we just need to get the list of email. So from the email only, we have to filter the data, and once we filter the data, we have to validate the text. So the validation is from subject, the validation from the center, validation from the mail body. So if you want to connect the Outlook, so we have to take the we have to understand the Outlook structure. So while means Outlook. So here we supposed to see some while right. So while folder. Right. So this is basically Outlook default folder. So the structure of Outlook is something different format. So basically, if you see the on top of the Outlook folder is here your own email ID, right? So it's a group folder. It's your default folder. So from the default folder is linked with subfolders. The subfolders are inbox, outbox, draft, sent item, and so on, right? So you have to connect with the default folder until the required folder. So if you want to access the default folder, there is a class. So the class is Microsoft Office Interrupt Outlook dot OL default folder. I'm just converting this class as a type. So this is a type is a data type conversion. So whatever you are seeing is within the square bracket is a data type. Right? So I'm just converting as a type and storing in the variable called Outlook folder, OL folders. So as we know, whenever we are going to interact with the Microsoft application, we have to create an COM object. So this is Outlook. So we are going to create the object using new object. So the object name is COM object. So we used new object when creating a PowerShell object, right? So if you see, if you are adding hyphen, you can able to find all the details there. So here you can create COM object. So this one is not available as a drop down, but if you want to specify, you can specify here. So previously we learned about PS custom object. Now we are learning about COM object here. So the COM object name is Outlook.application. So from Outlook.application, we are just creating an object and storing it in the variable. And also this is related with the exchange, I mean messaging, right? So we have to interact the application using a namespace called mappy. So mappy is nothing but messaging application programming interface. So ep is called application program interface. So here m stands for messaging application programming. So when we discussed about the API, so we for example service nodes application. So if you want to do something related with the automation and on that API, sorry, on that application, so we have an interface called API, service node API. So likewise for messaging Outlook, right? So we have an API, MAP, MAPI. So by using that MAPI namespace, we have to interact with the Outlook. So I'm just we created the object, right? So from the object I'm getting the namespace of mappy, since it depends on the setting. So some cases they will set up the mappy pop-up tree and all, right? So if you want to access the mailbox item, so it will be configured by the exchanging team. So if you want to interact with the Outlook, we have to know what kind of namespace is used. So for using that, we have to provide the mapping protocol. So I'm just to mention I'm happy here. So I'm just getting the namespace. So and then from the namespace only we can able to reach out to the specific folder. So namespace dot get default folder is a method. So I'm just getting uh, inbox folder from the parent folder. So the what is the parent folder? The while default folder, right? So from the parent folder, I'm just using access specifier and then the subfolder called Outlook folder inbox. So if you want to monitor some other, if you want to fetch some other details from sent item, you can use OIL folder sent mail. So and OIL folder is the default one, so you have to mention the name of the particular folder after that. So OIL folder first I'm going to access it. So I'm just assigning the data into the variable. So from the variable, I'm going to extract the emails. So all the emails are called items and just it's a property actually. So folder.items contains all the emails from inbox folder. So I don't need to filter all the data. So I need specific data. So which means we have to apply some condition. So based on the condition, it will filter the emails and it will give the proper emails only. So for achieving the same, we have to apply the condition using where object and then you can give your conditions here. So you can give the condition based on the subject, based on the receive date, based on the sender. You can mention here. And also if you want to select a particular field, you can select based on the properties. Subject is the property, received name, sender name. So if you want to get in the email body, you can get that one also. So once you extracted the data, so you can use loop concept to interact one by one, iterate one by one, and then you can apply the validation. So if the mail subject contains, if you can do it in two ways. One is on the same line also you can apply the condition, and then you can extract the data. Or else you can get all the data, and then you can apply the condition separately using if condition and all. Okay, so Ram, you have any, you get any clarity, or still any
Yeah,
questions?
I got it, Napoleon. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Okay.
Napoleon, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, can you just tell me that double colon operator?
Okay. Okay. So explain. So double colon means scope
It's used for mathematical
solution.
operations, right?
It's not for mathematical operation. It's scope solution operators is access specifier, which mean it's not a mathematical operator. Okay, so what it means, access specifier, and the other name, so which mean, so for example, so class A is there. So within the class A, we have multiple classes, subclass as well. Class B, that is from class A. Class C, that is from class B. So here you might have properties. That's okay. So if you see in this structure, so if you want to get this one, some properties from class C. Okay, so if you know the structure, it's supposed to come from A and then B and then C. Then you have to call on the sequence, right? Then only you can able to call properties or methods.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you are not sure on the child item, you just know
Mhm.
only the parent class and also the method. If you know, then you
Mhm.
use scope resolution or the access specifier, uh, variable to interact with the to get the corresponding folder, corresponding properties methods. So
Mhm.
while default, while folder having the parent class, so while default folders. So from that one, we don't know what are the subfolders are there. I'm just interacting only, inbox. So if I'm using
Mhm.
scope resolution operator, so it will access the this subfolder from the parent.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, got
It's
it.
a kind of
But
yeah, link between child and parent.
okay. So yeah, I executed these lines, but when I execute
Okay.
this particular folder equal to, I mean, line number 102,
Okay.
I'm getting the error which I pasted on the chat.
Okay. Okay, so you executed from line number 99.
Yeah, yeah. 99 to 101, no issues. But execute line number
Okay.
102, I received an error. It
Value
says
does
value
not
does
fall
not
within the
fall.
expected range. Okay, can I copy and paste the entire code?
Yeah, I did that in the chat.
Okay, so the above three lines, the highlighted lines are working fine, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's working fine.
Okay, so you are getting an issue only with this line. Can you check the variable name? You are using the same variable name, right?
Mm, yeah.
Value does not fall within the expected range. Okay, so your system configured with the Outlook.
Um, Let me see. I didn't check that.
Okay.
Okay, Napoleon, it should be configured with Outlook. Then only it will work, right?
Correct.
Yeah, right.
So it's interacting with the local machine Outlook.
Okay.
So if you want to check on Outlook from different machine, you just copy the entire code and use our remoting invoke command, right? Invoke command, computer name, and the server which is having the Outlook, server 5 having Outlook, for example, credential, credential passing, script plug. I just press it here. So what will work? It will just interact. The entire code will be executed on the server file, which is having Outlook, and it will return the result. So if you want to handle the result, you can store the result in the variable. So the entire result will be saved in result variable, and from result you can do some manipulation. Okay, so few things we have to remember. So one is how we are handling the the calculation and the logical. So if you want to get some information from the remote machine, at the time you can go and fetch the information using invoke command. So once you get the information, just to store the variable, store the value in the variable, and you can process the variable, I mean value, in the local. So sometime if you want to do all the calculation on the remote machine itself, then it's fine. But some use cases, if it is not required to do all the things on the remote machine, you just whatever the statement which is supposed to get the data, then it's fine to update it to fetch the data. So once you fetch the data, you can process the data in the local site machine. You got it? What I am
Napoleon,
saying? Yeah. Yes, please.
Napoleon, actually, I'm having a requirement. Like I was having multiple scripts, okay,
Okay.
for multiple
Okay.
purposes. Uh,
Okay.
but those scripts are in a same single file. In ISC4 file, I have saved in single file. I wanted
Okay.
to
Okay.
collaborate all these scripts in a single
Hmm.
line. Like, say, for example, initially it will ask for some question. You wanted to proceed with
Hmm.
this option or this option,
Okay.
something like that. If I select
Yep.
user, it will go to specific script, something like that. Is it possible to achieve that option?
Yes, yes, we can. Okay, so before going to that, so we supposed to fix the oil issue first. Okay, and then we can go with the your question. Okay,
Yeah, sure, sure,
please
sure.
hold for a minute. Okay, Sragapan, you said you are verifying, right? So the Outlook is available.
Yeah,
Good
actually,
to hear.
my Outlook is configured with this Gmail and Outlook.
Hmm.
Sorry, Gmail and
Hmm.
Yahoo. I don't think
Okay.
it uses the MAPI.
Oh, okay, okay. Maybe POP3 for Gmail, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that is the reason.
Hmm. So for our official Outlook, like Office 365 and all, so we have to use in this one. So it is working for me. Even in my environment, also I use the same code. It's working fine.
Okay.
All right.
So how can I
So
identify this Outlook is using MAPI or POP3, something like that? Is there any option to find out the way?
yeah, so the mostly and our Office 365, right? Outlook 365 and all. So we are using MAPI. But the Gmail and some other email, right? So they are configuring with POP3. Okay, actually, so we have only few protocols, MAPI, POP. You can able to get it actually. Have you tried to configure Outlook in your server as a fresh? If you are adding a user account on the Outlook, you can able to find this information actually. Path the map P. There is an option actually to select the
Okay.
this one. So you have to check which one the account properly has been set. So if they are using MAPI, then it's fine. So, but most of the cases, Office 365 and all, they are using MAPI. Okay, so yeah, you can get it from internet as well. So MAPI, POP3, and few things. So if you want to verify on the environment, you can just check the account settings. You can able to get it. Okay. All right. Shall we move on to next?
Yeah,
Yeah. So Ram, you are the one asked for the split up, right? Script split up.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so what you can do is okay, let me. Okay, so you have a lot of script or task within the same PS1 file, right? So
Yes, correct.
based on the input you supposed to execute the corresponding script
Yeah, script or command line.
command. Yeah, okay, that's yeah. Get CPU. Okay, so I'm just creating one example. Okay, so I'm just creating, getting the information from the user using read host. So if they are entering one is for CPU information and the two is for disk information. So when we ask this question, if they entered one, then we captured the information, right? So, okay, so based on the information, we can do the validation. So if the input equal to one, one, then corresponding CPU information, functional CPU related command lines command a script supposed to work. So else, so if they entered two, so the related
I got it.
functionality is supposed to work.
Yeah, I got
So
it.
if
Not worries.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, okay, yeah. So this we have to check.
Is it possible to uh, pop up working on pop up window, like selecting if I select those options, something like that,
Yes,
instead
we
of
can actually.
doing one?
Okay, yeah, we can actually. So when we, okay, so you just need to get the input in the form. Am I right? Windows form.
Yeah, 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 correct. Guy mode.
Okay, so in the guide mode, we discussed right during
Yeah, correct,
getting the input from users. At the time, we use Visual Basic.
correct.
So using Visual Basic class, we can use input box. Input box. There's a method called input box. So
Yeah,
at the
correct.
time you can ask them, yeah. So one for this one, two for this. So you can put the content on the input box, and they supposed to enter the data in the text box. So once they enter, you can perform the task.
Okay. Is there any a particular line you have for my reference? Can share it with me.
I already shared the code. Currently, is not
No problem.
here.
You are
Okay.
referring to old class, right?
Yes, yes, old class.
Yeah.
So you can
Three
refer
to four.
the class which is related to, yeah, read host, write host. You just find out.
Yeah.
So we
Sure.
can taken we learned about getting information input from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
users.
In that class, we have we have taken an input for single thing.
Hmm,
Like
hmm.
likewise, I just wanted to display like we need to select the option and click OK, something like that. Is it possible?
Yeah. Yes, yes, it is possible actually. If you know Visual Basic,
Okay.
you can create a form actually. You have to import the, the Visual Basic assemblies, and then you
Okay.
can create a, Windows forms. And Windows forms, you can create a text box, create a drop down, create a button,
Okay.
actually. So, if you have 10 tasks in your PS1 file, you can add all the tasks in the drop down, and they supposed to select the drop down, and then you can have a submit button. So based on the drop down value, you can add your conditions in the script, and then on the button submit method, right? So
Hmm.
on that submit method, you have to write your code.
Okay.
Just call the function.
Sure. Thank you.
So it's not limited actually. So if you know Windows form variable, you can make use of that one. So if you know web form, you can use HTML. So if you are okay with the only HTML, you can create a HTML. So last class, previous class we discussed about, okay, last class we discussed about some HTML when it comes to adding a content into email. So if you know HTML very well, you can form the HTML using HTML tags, and you can make use of this one in PowerShell. So this one is only to send email in the form of HTML table. But if you know HTML very well, we can make use of it for creating a web page. So any questions with the previous topics? You clear it, right? Still any questions?
Yes, yes, I'm okay with that. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, okay, yeah.
And is there any
And also,
specific way to learn those topics related to Visual Basic and Windows Forms and something like that? Is there any after this class
okay,
we may refer any of the
yeah, yeah. I
anything
will I
specific?
will share the URL. So
Yeah,
I will share the URL which is specific to Windows Forms in PowerShell.
yeah, sure. Thanks.
And yeah, one more specific in this topic, we can create a portal using ASP.NET, C#.NET, and also if you are very well with the PHP, so open source server scripting, right? So if you are okay with the PHP, then you can use the PowerShell. You can create a web form and add the PowerShell script into that. You just execute the PowerShell from the PHP portal or content portal. ASP.NET portal or PHP portal is up to you.
Okay.
So PowerShell is not limited. So if you know, very well with the technology, you can widely used in most of the technologies. So
Okay.
orchestration also we can use Ansible DevOps configuration management, right? So on that configuration management tools also we can use PowerShell. Web application like ASP.NET PHP also we can use. So we can use PowerShell in most of the platforms. So
And
any questions? Yeah, yeah, please.
yeah, Napoleon, actually, apart from this subject, actually, I'm
Mm.
having a requirement like I wanted to fetch the license, I mean, terminal server license assigned details. Is there any way to get that terminal server? Is there any specific command that I have searched for that, but I couldn't find that thing. Even I installed terminal server thing, so role in that server, but I couldn't
Mm.
find the relevant command that.
Okay, okay. Which server they actually?
I'm sorry,
Okay, so which license you said?
terminal service license, terminal server.
Terminal server
Yeah.
license, is it?
Yeah. The license which are assigned
Okay.
to
Mm.
computers. What are the
Mm-hmm.
computers, list of computers, what are the OS, likewise.
Mm. Okay. So it's a virtual server or physical server?
It's a virtual server.
Virtual server. Okay. So
So is there
this
any
information
difference?
might be not specifically. So why I asked this question? Some information you will get it from vCenter, right? It is a virtual.
Okay, okay,
Right, so yeah, so if you are going to perform some operation on the vCenter, for the network changes, for the hard disk extension, so on the VM level, on the vCenters, so at the time using PowerShell itself we can do. So there's a module called PowerShell, so we will learn about that module next week. uh, you know So when using the PowerShell I command, sorry module, you can do whatever you are doing on the vCenter side manually. So on the vCenter, you can whatever you are doing on the vCenter, right? So you can achieve it in the PowerShell.
Okay.
So if you think the license and OS name, these details available on the VM layer, then we can get it from that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why I asked, say VM or physical. So for physical, we will get some information from, if it is HP, then we will get it from HPILO. So we have few commands which will connect ILO, HPILO.
Okay. But
So
I
using that
I thought
command,
of yeah. Yeah, okay. I understood. I thought of verifying from the uh, server terminal server itself. I thought doing that.
okay, so from manually you can able to get it, is it on the terminal server?
Yeah, I manually we can get it, but I wanted to get it through command line
Hmm.
as a report.
Okay,
Uh,
so
it should be as a
okay,
report.
okay, okay. So and where we have to find actually on the terminal server. So if you know the corresponding path, then we can get the command. So you could not able to
Okay.
find it from internet, is it?
Yes, I couldn't find
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm. Okay.
Luckily, I tried a relevant command line also. I couldn't find.
Hmm. Okay.
So there are big script
Okay. So
which is available in internet,
sometime what
but I
happen?
couldn't use it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometime what will happen, we could not able to get the related commands in our system, so we have to install import the specific module, then only we can able to get the command head. So we have to uh, first we need to check where you are getting the information. So I haven't worked on terminal server, so probably if you give me the path, probably I will check and let you know.
No worries. I'll check it out and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And Napoleon, when we are, I mean, when you are giving the classes out of this class, can you please provide us some task, something like that?
Okay.
Because we wanted to, I mean, especially for me, I wanted to work continuously with the scripts actually,
Hmm.
uh, which I need to learn about it actually, end to end.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
you
So,
can give
hmm.
the task from your own, I mean,
Hmm.
production thing itself. You might
Okay.
have come across,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
So, sure. So probably I will take a few, alone task. So I will, post it in our WhatsApp group. Probably you can take this exercise and you can try it your end.
Yeah, that would be better. You can post at least 4 or 5 tasks. That would be enough for this entire weekend,
Yeah.
weekdays to work
Sure,
upon.
sure. So we almost completed the course actually. So if you see, so remoting is the main one. So we still pending with modules. So modules and also some best practices and recommendations. So mostly we will cover on next 2 days, in the next week 2 days. So if
Yeah,
any additional, then we can connect one more week.
yeah, understood. That before
Yeah.
that, we wanted to.
Sure, sure,
Uh,
sure. Yeah. So
wanted
that's
to
why
get.
I am, for all the classes, I'm keep on asking you to try to the end. Actually, you just take the, your own environment related task, which is you feel easiest to. And okay, so it's not an issue. So I will share the, few use cases to you.
Sure.
So is there anything from anyone? So if you feel if anything needs to refresh, still you need some more clarity or some more information you need from any previous topic, let me know. So I will refresh it again. So before going to next topics.
Yeah, sure, Napoleon. Do we have any specific classes available? Only scripting related things apart from basic. Do we have any advanced scripting class?
In PowerShell, is it?
Yeah,
Okay, so advanced scripting classes we haven't scheduled ahead. So if we need, probably we can, go with that.
yeah,
So we
that
can
would be
plan for that.
better. You can plan for it.
Mhm. Yeah, and before that, we need to know, what kind of core which is later. So, for example, some members are from SCCM, some members are from AD, some members are from Intel, VM, right? So we can take based on the track, specific track. So if you
For me,
need to
I have
understand all the track in general, then it's fine. We can go with the general topics.
that would be better. In general, will be
Hmm.
better. Even you can take because no one will have AD and SCM and all in our environment, right? I mean,
Hmm.
lab environment.
Oh, yeah.
By working locally, whatever we can do, something like that, we can try it out.
Okay.
We can get into deep dive into that scripting.
Sure,
Try
sure.
try for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably after this course end, so I will connect with the Stan. So probably he will check with all of you for additional classes. So, I mean the
Yeah,
advanced
that would be
concept.
better. Yeah, that would be better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so probably we can wind up for today. We can connect. We will connect next week. Next week we will discuss about modules. I have taken few. I am going to take few modules which is related to AD and also PowerCLI, since the AD is mainly used for Active Directory fields and PowerCLI is mostly for VMware. So, and also we will learn about the best practices in terms of PowerShell scripting, security point of view, scripting point of view. We discussed bit and piece till now, but so as a consolidated one, we can discuss about that. So meanwhile, I will give 4 to 5 tasks for your exercise. So I will put it in the chat. Sorry, in the WhatsApp chat. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Right.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.